Imagine handing someone your entire life's work, 40 years of early mornings, of missed vacations, of not yet and one day, $800,000. Gone. In 18 months. This didn't happen in a scam email. It didn't happen on a dark web forum. It happened inside licensed financial firms, with certified advisors, in offices that smelled like mahogany and trust. Today, we are going to look at the exact psychological mechanisms that allowed respected financial professionals to systematically destroy the people who trusted them most. Before we talk about betrayal, we need to talk about trust, because you cannot understand one without understanding the other. There is a concept in behavioral economics called authority bias. The moment someone wears a suit, sits behind a desk with credentials on the wall, and uses words like diversification, fiduciary, and risk-adjusted returns, your brain does something remarkable. It relaxes. The amygdala, your threat detection center, goes quiet. A 2018 study from the Dow University of California found that people shown images of professionals in formal settings rated their advice as more credible before hearing a single word. We are wired to trust authority, and financial advisors are dressed in every signal our brains associate with safety. But here's the uncomfortable question this channel always asks. What happens when the authority is the threat? Let me introduce you to 3 cases, 3 real advisors, 3 devastating patterns, and the psychology that made every single victim feel, right up until the end, that they were in good hands. Meet the phenomenon known as churning. A 6-7-year-old retired schoolteacher in Columbus, Ohio, we'll call her Margaret, handed her advisor $340,000 in retirement savings. She trusted him completely. He'd been recommended by her church. Over the next 2 years, he executed over 300 trades in her account. Not because it benefited her, but because every trade generated a commission for him. When regulators investigated, they found something chilling. On the days he traded most aggressively, Margaret's portfolio was already down. He wasn't trying to recover her losses. He was generating fees from her losses. FINRA fined him $85,000 and barred him from the industry. Margaret recovered $40,000. She lost $180,000 permanently. The psychology at play? Gradual escalation. The first few trades made money. She was delighted. By the time the damage was clear, she'd been conditioned to defer. She assumed she didn't understand finance well enough to question him. That assumption cost her retirement. The most dangerous financial advisor isn't always a stranger. Sometimes he's the most beloved man in your community. In 2021, a financial advisor in a tight-knit immigrant community in Florida, let's call him, Victor, was sentenced to 14 years in federal prison. He had defrauded 47 families from his own cultural community of over $9 million. This is called affinity fraud, and it is devastatingly effective. Here's why. When someone shares your background, your language, your religion, your brain, assigns them in-group status, the same social psychology that makes communities beautiful, shared identity, mutual protection, loyalty becomes a weapon in the hands of someone willing to exploit it. Victor didn't cold call strangers. He volunteered at cultural events. He gave generously to community causes. He built social proof over years before asking for a single dollar. By the time he asked clients to invest in his exclusive fund with guaranteed 12%, returns saying no felt like betraying your own people. The FBI's Financial Crimes Division says affinity fraud is the fastest growing form of investment fraud in the United States, and it almost always involves someone who looks, sounds, and prays just like you. In 2022, a FINRA arbitration hearing captured something remarkable on record. The moment an advisor was forced to explain, under oath, why he placed an 8-1-year-old widow's entire $620,000 estate into high-risk leveraged ETFs. His answer? Chilling in its simplicity. She said she wanted growth. I gave her growth, products. He was not wrong about the technical transaction. He was catastrophically wrong about suitability. Leveraged ETFs products designed for sophisticated day traders holding Positions for hours, not years, had been sold to an elderly widow as a retirement vehicle. The concept at the core of this case is information asymmetry. She didn't know what a leveraged ETF was. He did. And he used that gap not to protect her, but to sell the product with the highest commission. She lost 71% of her portfolio in 14 months. The advisor was fined. She died before the arbitration concluded. 3 cases, 3 different methods. But if you look closely, the same psychological architecture underneath every single one. Number 1, the expertise gap. Financial advisors understand that most clients won't and can't verify what they're being told. When someone uses technical language, the human brain defaults to deference. We don't say, "I don't understand." We nod. Because admitting confusion feels like admitting inadequacy. Studies show that over 70% of Americans cannot define the word fiduciary, the most fundamental protection in financial advising. A fiduciary is legally required to act in your best interest. A non-fiduciary advisor is only required to recommend products that are suitable, a far lower standard. Most people don't know the difference, and some advisors depend on that. Number 2, the sunk cost trap. Once you've trusted someone with your savings for, believe, 2 years, changing your mind doesn't feel like wisdom. It feels like admitting you made a mistake. Human beings are wired to avoid that admission. We double down. We rationalize. We stay long after we should have left. Number 3, social proof as manipulation. Victor didn't need to be convincing. His community was convincing for him. When you see 12 people you respect handing their money to someone, your brain stops evaluating the investment. It starts evaluating social standing. Declining feels antisocial, and that social discomfort is more powerful in the moment than financial logic. Now, here is what separates people who avoid these traps from people who don't. It is not intelligence. It is not wealth. It is a specific set of questions that dissolve the psychological leverage advisors use. Question 1. Are you a fiduciary in writing? Not, do you act in my interest? In writing. Any advisor who hesitates on this question has just answered it. Question 2. How exactly are you compensated? Fee-only advisors charge you directly. Commission-based advisors are paid by the products they sell you. Understanding this one sentence can change everything. Question 3. Can I see a record of trades made in my account monthly? Churning collapses under transparency. A trustworthy advisor welcomes this request. A dangerous one will redirect and explain why it's unnecessary. Question 4. What is the worst realistic outcome of this investment? Watch how they answer. A good advisor will walk you through the downside scenario with precision. A dangerous advisor will pivot back to upside potential. Question 5. Who regulates you, and can I verify your record? FINRA BrokerCheck is a free public database. Every licensed broker in America has a record there. Complaints, fines, terminations, all visible. Most people never check. The ones who do rarely get defrauded. Here's the final thing I want to leave you with, and it is the most important idea in this entire video. Margaret, the retired schoolteacher, the 47 families who lost everything, the 8, 1 year, old widow. None of them were naive. None of them were careless. They were human. They trusted the way humans are designed to trust, through proximity, authority, shared identity, and social proof. The advisors who failed them didn't exploit stupidity. They exploited humanity. The antidote is not cynicism. It is not refusing to trust. It is understanding the architecture of how trust is built and manipulated so that you can ask the right questions before signing anything, verify the right records before committing anything, and recognize the psychological pressure when it is being applied to you. Money is not just math. It is psychology. And the wealthiest, most financially secure people in the world, they know that the most important financial skill is not picking stocks. It is knowing who to trust and precisely how far. If this video protected even one person's retirement, it was worth every second. Subscribe to Classy Wealth, because your financial education is not a luxury. It is your armor.